I'm going.
And blooper reel.
Hi everybody, this is Mark again. I'm just going to show you real quick on how to paint gray hunters. Okay, these are Trevor's models, so if you complain about how they don't have backpacks, you can talk to him about that. He doesn't like them, aesthetically speaking. Hi, Ben. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is thin your paints. Remember, sex can wait, thin your paint. It's how it works. You'll save a lot of detail on your model just by keeping that down. So you'll want to add some water till you get a consistency that's kind of where it's like this, you know, where you can see it's kind of starting to recede. All right, and then you want to kind of drag it along so you can get a nice edge on your brush, and then you want to just start going over the model. It will start to recede on the model. Just keep going over it steadily over and over again until it dries, and you'll get a nice effect where it'll save your detail. That's the big thing. You always want to thin your paint down. That's just, I mean, I'm not going to give you any kind of tutorial that'll make you the best painter in the world, but what my goal is to so that you don't embarrass yourself. A lot of new players to this game end up with disaster models that are just absolutely unsalvageable, and they either end up having to strip the paint or just buy new models. And that's really what I'm going to try to hope to help you guys avoid with this series. So yeah, just regularly go over it over and over again to kind of keep it from pooling, kind of keep it going like that, and eventually you'll get something that looks nice, like you spray painted it. This is a nice cheap way to get your gesso coat down, your base layer. So that you'll have something else for everything to stick to. All right? And you'll get eventually something that looks like this, where you see this one I finished a while ago. It's got a nice layer and it's got a hair on it. Oh, that's sexy. Space wolves. Yep, you'll get something nice like that that looks like you spray painted it, and it'll have all your detail preserved. That's really the key thing. Okay, go ahead and hold that up to the camera, Ben. Thank you, my lovely assistant. All right. And once you've got that down, you want to go to your gray tones. Because with gray hunters especially, that's going to be like your first layer. The thing like with Warhammer 40k painting, among with any other kind of painting, is you want to build up layers slowly. So you're still thinning your paints, but in this case you're going to add some white, and you're going to mix that in with your black to make really basic art theory here. And you want to be very careful with your black. Black is a lot stronger than most artists think it is, because like it's really potent. There's a lot of pigment to it. Where's my sponge? There you go. Sometimes it's nice to clean some of the water off with sponges, so you can have more control over your brushes. I got sponges from a makeup company, Elf. They're really nice, but really you can use any sponge you want. They're also really good for marbling effects if you ever want to do that on vehicles. Alright, so yeah, once you get a nice gray that you're happy with, you just start going over areas of your model that are going to be gray color. So in this case, it's going to be the armor panels. Get a detail brush and just start painting it over. Yep. And when that's done, you should get something that looks kind of like this over here. Oh, it's got a few patches I still want to finish up. Go. Okay. And once you're done with that, you'll get something that looks a little bit more like, it'll look like that. But then you go to the next step, which is putting on your next layer, which is the blue. You're going to want a really thin layer of blue to get that effect. So you'll let the gray kind of show through so you get that aged look. For that, you're going to want to kind of mix some of your gray into a light blue color. My blue is, we don't want to use that blue over there, we want to use this one. That other blue over there was a side project I did for some pretty Marines. It's got glitter mixed into it. If you're into that sort of thing, I mean, go for it. That's a funny joke for me. And some of those things can really add flavor to armies and get you noticed, but they can also get you laughed at. Alright, mix that together until you get a nice consistency. Kind of like that. There we go. You'll notice I'm not using Games Workshop products, and that's not because I have something against them, but because I am broke. All right. So, but you can get a lot of effects with like Walmart grade stuff. It won't be as easy, but you can get the same effects on a budget. You can play Warhammer without spending an arm and a leg. You can just spend an arm. It's still expensive. All right. So once you get a nice, layer going for your gray hunters, once you get your blues down like this, The part that really makes these models stand out and look cool is what you want to do is you're going to want to do some gold trim. You're going to want to go around the edges, and you're going to want to take any kind of metallic gold paint and do a lining with them, like on this model right here, the one I showed you the layers. You'll notice the gold on them. And those really make it stand out, those gold highlights, and then you can really make them pop with the next step I'm going to show you here. Give me some Egrax Earthshade. You do this with any kind of thinned out brown paint to create an Earthshade, but really the Games Workshop stuff is, like for shaders, as you can see, I normally tend towards Walmart, but for shaders, Games Workshop gives them to you. It's such a good state, it's hard not to. They are liquid talent that will make all your models look 100 times better if you use shaders. So with gold especially, what you can do is you can get some of that Earthshade, and with a detail brush, just go over your gold. And you'll get an effect that really like ages up the gold, but in a really cool way. If you have any pooling, just spread it out with your brush. Get it nice over all the areas where you have gold. Around the belt, around the shoulder pads. And this effect, while very, very easy, will make your models look a lot better. So even if you're new at the game, gold trim and then Earthshade will make, like, people will compliment you on your models. They won't, you won't be the best painter in the world, but you won't look like an idiot like I did when I first started painting. Because I went to school for art. I went to school to try to get an art degree, and I never finished it, but I thought I knew enough about painting going into this that I'd be really good at it, and I made the same stupid mistakes that everyone makes. Just remember, thin your paint. The detail is really on the model. You are not creating the detail yourself. The detail is already there. You don't need to overwork. I'm just gonna, and that's really good painters at 40K learn how to express what's already on the model a lot better to get it to stand out. They'll put things like shaders over almost all the little cracks and crevices. Those are the tips that really make the difference between a good 40K painter and a bad one. I mean, it's really easier than it looks. All right, so once you're done with that, you should get something that looks kind of like this. And you see how really cool that gets with the effects in there? All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to paint the weapons for these guys. All right. So in order to paint your weapons, you're going to want something metallic. Any kind of metallic shade will really work, but I'm going to be using a metallic silver just because I like that effect. But really, you can do anything metallic. I also have metallic black over here that works really nicely when I have darker models. I like that paint. It's already kind of runny. Nice and thin. Get a nice edge on your brush and just paint the blade. And if you make any mistakes at this step, don't worry. The nice thing about painting with acrylics is you can go over them again and again and again. You can just neaten up with another color. You're not going to mess up that badly. Right. Then you can go around plasma weapon. Now, plasma weapons are a little bit of a niche in Warhammer. You see them a lot, and so it's nice to learn how to paint them. They have this glowing blue slot in the middle, and there is a way you can get a glowing effect on there that's really cool. What you do is you go back to your blue, and you get a dark blue, and you put down a dark blue base all through that little box. Get nice blue up in your box. Giggity. Alright. You just get it in there with a detail brush. And if you make any mistakes at this point, it's okay. You can neaten up with you can neaten up with your metallic silver, or your metallic, whatever color you went with. All right, cool. And once you get that first darker shade of blue going, just dry your brush, take some white, and you're going to want to scoop a little bit of that, put it with your blue, and mix and create just like a lighter shade of blue. Just a little bit lighter. There we go. Like that. And what you do with that is you go through and you sharpen it up on the edge, get some edges, and you highlight the raised ridges. So just drag it over the top like that. Make it look like there's something in there that is a lighter color. And over the top. And you get that slight glow effect to it. Alright. And then you get some white, just white. Just a little bit of white, you'll need just a tiny little bit. And go again. Not the best I've ever done, but it'll work. There you go. And you see that glowing effect you get in there? Now, if you really want to get crazy, and I'm not going to do this on this channel because of I'm just teaching the basics so you don't embarrass yourself, you can go back over with blue shader, with Nightshade, I do believe is the Games Workshop paint you'd use, or Draken Nightshade, yeah. Nice. You'd go through and you'd highlight the edges and the area around wherever that plasma's light would be showing, and then you'd really get it to pop out. But we're not going to do that here because that would take a while. But that is the shader you would use for that. That's all I'm going to cover today. Thank you for watching. I'm Mark, and I hope you keep it sarcastic.